Alright guys, good afternoon. Happy Sunday everyone. I'm gonna do a quick one taker. You guys know I give you the highs and lows, the bad, the good, the ugly as much as I can. But I did talk about my grandma passing away 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, my grandpa passed away 5 days ago from a massive heart attack. I do believe he died of a broken heart. My grandpa was like, I would say, about to be 80. My grandma was about to be 90. They spent 50 plus years together. I was a lot more closer to my grandma than my grandpa because I only met him once. Officially, once. And I saw him a couple times on like FaceTime when my dad used to call my grandma. And it just feels kind of odd. Granted, I know they're in a better place because they knew St. Jesus in their heart. This is not a whatever you believe, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not pushing my Christian beliefs on anyone. I'm just saying that's what I believe and that's what they believed. But it's interesting. That actually really happens. I've heard it in the news and things like that. People actually die of a broken heart because my grandpa did die of a broken heart. Now, granted, the day that my grandma died, now the thing is, he's already buried. They're both buried in the family plot. In the Cortez family plot, I believe, with my other great-grandparents, to my knowledge. But they're buried together. I believe they're buried together. I don't know how it works, but I do know that in Guatemala, maybe in other Central American countries and even Mexico, you bury them the next day, or depending on what time they die, you have a vigil, a night vigil, and then the night vigil, and then the next day you bury, like in the early afternoon-ish, around 4. Usually it's always like around 4 or 3 o'clock. My grandma got buried at 4. My grandpa got buried at 4 o'clock, but in the ground at 4 o'clock. My grandma died at 7:53 a.m. and my grandpa died at 7-something p.m. 2 days apart from each other. She died on a Wednesday. She died on a Tuesday. He died on a Wednesday. He died of a massive heart attack. He had a lot of health complications. And the day that my grandma passed away, he had to go to a doctor because he had a very big, nasty fall. And then he had a lot of problems. And then they were going to incubate him the day that he was going to pass away. But unfortunately, around that time when they were going to incubate him, my dad talked to my dad. My dad talked to my grandpa before they were going to do that. She's like, don't worry about me, honey. Caesar, just pray for me. Everything's going to be fine. He had my grandma's cane. She really missed her. They were together for 50 years. And I believe the Cortez comes from my grandma's side, not his side. Because, give or take, my dad was already born. They only have one biological child named my Uncle Claudio. And my auntie and my dad and my Tio Dene, which he's the oldest. But then again, he has a lot of needs that he needs to be taken care of for the rest of his life. But that's my uncle. That's my Jessica's, thing. So basically, they had a lot of love for each other. You know what I mean? They loved each other. What I remember from him, he was a very quiet man, very reserved man. My dad was like, okay, just remember the promise of Jesus and you should be fine. It's like, yes, I remember the promise of Jesus. Everything's going to be fine. You tell my auntie everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Just tell, your brother to pray. God listens to him. But that's what my dad said. My dad said, I'm going to find Dad. Call him Papa David. Granted, I wasn't close to my grandpa because I met him once. I saw him a couple times on FaceTime when he used to call my grandma. Right? And my grandma used to tell me to sing for her. Would always tell me to sing for her. Come on, baby, sing for your grandma, baby, sing for grandma. And then I sang for her when my parents went to go visit her. And I feel like she knew something was going to happen because she would be so happy and so cheerful and look so good. That's what according to my dad. The day that they died, the day that they left, the day before this whole accident happened and she passed away, the day that they left to go back to the airport and all of that, she sang them away with a hymn. Alevantado Salivans in Spanish. Hymnal, I think. But hymnals are slow. Like a church song, like a upbeat church song, right? And I felt like she kind of knew something like that was gonna happen. But she was so happy and so alive. She didn't have any pain. Before my dad left, like everything was fine. She ate 3 days, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with them. Even though she would wait for him, there's like a little church that my dad used to go to, that I loved going to. And she's like, I'll wait for you, we'll eat food, and then she'll go to bed. All those, 10 days or 12 days that they were there for. And then like 4 days later, it happened. She got her summer celebrate. And it just happened like that. Granted, she was not stressed out. She wasn't mad. She just happened. But she did talk to my dad that Friday before. And I think it said hi to her. I think, I'm not sure. Or I think it said her on Thursday. I'm not sure. I remember saying hi to her. And she was like, oh, I'm just saying hi, Mom. Because back in 2023, over a year, my dad would call my grandma every single day, like clockwork, just to see how she was doing and just pray over her. And talk about, the Bible and things like that. We'll talk about everyone. And I'm just making sure everything's okay. Because obviously, he misses his mom. That was his mommy. And she's like, oh, honey, what's going on? Oh, she's like, everything's fine. I'm just a little tired, a little exhausted. And okay, Mom, I'm gonna go take Iris to the doctor right now, to the emergency room, but she doesn't have medication for her sugar, really. She doesn't have Mounjaro, medication. At the time, my mom didn't have Mounjaro, because the doctor didn't subscribe her, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. The famous Mounjaro drug that every celebrity and their mama's using right now. And I can't get any. Literally, I can't. I physically cannot get. I don't qualify for Mounjaro weight loss or whatever. I guess I gotta do it a natural way. But she's like, oh, honey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Go take Iris to the doctor. My mom even said hi to her. She's like, how are you doing, Iris? And she's like, oh, hi, hola, doña Carmen, everything's fine. I'm gonna go to the doctor right now. And I think I did say hi to her because I was around there, helping her do something. She's like, okay, Mom, I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And then that day, everything kind of, because it happened that morning. It happened Saturday morning. It happened Saturday morning at like 7 something their time, because my little cousin called my dad and said my grandma doesn't want to wake up. She's basically dead. And long story short, it started as a brain aneurysm, and then it went to an infection in the brain or something happened. I don't know. But something happened, and unfortunately, she died. My dad talked to her before she passed away, and I sang to her one last time on Sunday. I sang to her one last time on Sunday. And it's really hard to sing when you're crying. But my mom said, come on, sing for her. And I'm like, Grandma, get up. Get up, wake up. Gonna bring you your godbaby. Your great grandbaby. With blue eyes and curly hair. So you can go visit her. Next to your grandma. I'm gonna bring you my American pie. Next to your grandma. Come on. Sorry. If you hear noise in the background, that's my nephew's music. But unfortunately, she would hear us, but she was unconscious, so she could still hear us. And then if she would hear us, she would open her mouth. But yeah, and then my grandpa went with her 2 weeks later. Died of a broken heart. Because even though I don't know, I know somewhat of their love story. But they were together for 50 plus years. Especially I kind of knew something like this was gonna happen. Because the day of her visual and funeral, he had to go to the doctor because he had slipped, tumbled twice. So it's a bittersweet vlog, but I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Wanted to talk to you. Life is very, very short. And I'm not. I'm gonna talk about my Christian faith. I'm not the most perfect Christian out there, but you need to. I find comfort in God. I find comfort in Jesus. And if you're feeling lonely, lost, anything, even if you're not, you can always find Him and trust in Him. I trust in Him immensely. Even though I'm not perfect and I should do more things and blah, 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 blah. But I have comfort in Him that He has my grandparents. There's two ways, up or down. I want to go up. I don't want to go down. And I'm not fear-mongering. This is not about me shoving the Bible down your throat, because at the end of the day, I can't shove anything down anyone's throat or even convert you into Christianity. Because I know a lot of Christians are very interesting when it comes to their faith and preaching the gospel of the Lord. I can talk about the gospel of the Lord all you want. But He's loving, He's kind, He's understanding. Just accept Him. Or find your own relationship with Him. That's what I would say. Find your own relationship and your own comfort with Him. The one that died on the cross, came back after 3 days. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. 3 that are on the throne. It's pretty simple. People make it complicated. Man makes it complicated. National Christianity makes it scary. And I'm a Christian, man. I'm not that type of Christian. Lord. But I needed to vent. Thank you for hearing me out. I'm sorry for all the tears, but I show the good, the bad, and the ugly as much as I can on my channel. You have seen me for the last 10 years, 11 years, because Liam's about to be 11 this year. On and off. But grieving is not an easy process. Granted, I know that they're in a better place, but still it kind of stinks. Alrighty, I will talk to you later. May the Lord bless you today, tomorrow, and always, and obviously.